with a single agenda item purpose for our meeting, and I'll let our city manager, Ms. Kelsey, introduce that and give the details.
I'm going to introduce you to Gabe Agan. He's one of our financial advisors with Raymond James, and he has a presentation to go through with you, and then I think he's going to turn it over to the bond counsel. So we'll just, I'll let Gabe get up.
Thank you, Meg. So we have distance here. It's a pleasure to be here this evening and present you on the pricing results of the water sewer revenue bond issue that we took bids on today. This actually originated, I guess, back late summer when Meg and Patrick and others and I started talking about financing options for some projects for the water sewer plant here, and determined to do a revenue bond issue. And it's been quite a while since the city of LaGrange has issued revenue bonds. I believe 2002 since the last rated water sewer revenue bond. So it was a brand new water sewer rating through Moody's that we ended up getting, rated. I did provide some slides, but I'm just gonna, I can just discuss through them. There's no need to necessarily go through them.
Sure.
So we basically developed a plan of finance that was a 20-year fixed rate bond issue. Over this last year, not a whole lot of positive things from the pandemic, but one positive is we've had some really low interest rates, and we were able to lock in. Actually, we took the bids, and there's a summary of all the bids here, but our true interest cost over just over 20 years is 1.74% here fixed. So very, very low fixed interest rate for 20 years here. We're going to close this financing on March 30th, and at that point in time, there's going to be money in the project fund. I'll go through this slide in a little bit more detail here later. And then there's going to be payments that are approximately level each year with a final payment of January 1, 2042. Just want to talk a little bit on the rating, since that was a big deal, being a first-time rating. We're very pleased to see the city get a AA3 bond rating. And just to give you an idea where rating categories fall, everything below BBB is non-investment grade. BBB is investment grade, so you got Ba3 is the lowest investment grade, Baa2, Baa1, and then you get into the A category. The same A1, A2, A3, and then the next category, the very high rating category before you get to AAA, is the AA category. And it's a big difference because there's a lot of buyers really want to at least get in that really high grade AA category, so we're really hoping we'd get up into that AA3 category, which we did, and that helped you get a lower interest rate. So there's AA3, AA2, and AA1, then AAA. So we did get in that AA category. And there's a Moody's report available. I don't know if they've had a chance to see it, but it's public information, and Meg could share it with you if you want to review it. It's about 5 or 6 pages, but Moody's talks about how the city's water sewer system has excellent debt service coverage, the ability to service this debt. Liquidity is very strong. All the financial metrics are incredibly good. So some real favorable feedback from Moody's, I thought, through this process. And Meg and Patrick and all your staff here did a great job representing the city through the process here. Just to give you a few ballpark ideas of what we came in as far as the bids, we had 13 bids. We structured this finance and took bids today. We had 13 investment banks submit a bid to buy your bonds. And as I mentioned, the lowest one was a 1.74%. I do have a summary of those bids in your information. It's actually slide 6. Jump around a little bit. So Piper Sandler was the winning bid, and then the cover bid, Hilltop Securities. So they range from 1.74 to a 2.07%. So some pretty good rates from top to bottom. But of course, we awarded it to the lowest true interest cost for you here. Let's go to page 3 now. I just want to go quickly over what these proceeds are going to be used for. And I also have the spreads, and that's to all bonds trade to what they call the AAA Municipal Market Index, and the spreads are how wide the underwriter priced the deal to that benchmark index. So that's, it's a really, good aggressive pricing there. But let's just focus on that sources of use, or the uses of funds. You might say, how are we getting more money than we sell bonds? Because the amount of the bonds is $26,795,000. So that's the par amount of bonds that will be in the resolution you consider here. The couponing is what we see pretty common, some premium couponing. So you're actually raising almost another $2.4 million. So the price the underwriter will be paying is $29.129 million. And the uses of these funds are $26.868 million. That's for the project fund, the main thing that we're doing to build the water sewer projects that are laid out in the engineering report that's an exhibit to the offering document. There's three smaller loans that you have outstanding through the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority that I think two of them are 3%, and one of them was 4.1. So rates were lower, so we just cleaned that up and put it into this financing for you. So we used about $2 million for that. And then, of course, the cost of doing one of these, is about $260,000, which is, our fee, legal counsel fee, rating agencies, and just the other things that customarily cost to get one of these financings completed here. So the next page, page 4. Okay, this is important. This is what you're going to actually pay back here for the money that you borrowed up front. We kept the first year payment a little bit lower since you don't have a full year of cash flow to go towards this one. But then after that, it's about $1.6 million, just under $1.7 million per year. $1,677,600 is your maximum annual debt service here. So that's what you'll be paying back over the life of this bond issue. You don't refinance them early. And page 5 I just included. This will also be in the final official statement that we'll be getting printed in the next few days. But this just shows your debt service coverage of this bond issue, and then also if we the GFA notes that are left outstanding are paid from water sewer, even though they don't have a first lien, but we still want to show the coverage on both. So, excellent debt service coverage. You have enough money to cover this revenue bond issue by almost 4 times based on your 2020 revenue. So, with the stability and strength of your water sewer system, and Patrick runs and his team run a pretty tight ship over there, you should be in good shape to pay this back. There's a couple charts about just the interest rates. We have seen some over the last few weeks, rates start to rise some, but in the scheme of things, you guys hit this pretty good. So I was very pleased with the pricing here. And I guess really at this point, if you have questions, I want to answer those. And we have our bond attorneys who prepared the bond, and then to the disclosure counsel for the official statement are with us. John Fennell and Stephen Swinson are right here. They're from Savannah. So they'll talk about the resolution and the legal side of this a little bit. But any questions on the financing before we let them go forward?
Any questions from any of the council members?
Do you have any information about Piper Sandler and Company? Is that?
Well, I mean, they're a publicly traded, a large,
Okay.
financing. This is done through competitive bids, so they are a qualified firm that made a bid, so they provided the lowest rate here. So
Okay.
that's a little bit different, than like selecting a firm that was by bid here. But they're a publicly traded firm. The underwriter we've been working with is out of Minnesota, I believe. Had several conversations with him today, just verifying things. But they're certainly a good, well-respected firm. Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have they been in business, do you know?
For a long time. I don't know the exact year, but they're a publicly traded firm, and they've been in business for a long time.
Okay.
Any other questions, council members? Meg, you want to let our next speaker go ahead, or do you have any comments to make?
I was just gonna remind you, when we went through, a list of projects during our retreat in August, we brought forth a lot of improvements to the water plant, the
Right.
wastewater treatment plant, relocation of water lines, several, lift stations that we need to address. So that's basically what we use this money for, so just as a reminder to you.
That's what I was going to ask Patrick. Was that going to take care of all the work we need to do at the water plant?
Yes.
Oh, and one other question for you, Meg. What about that extension down Whitesville Road?
That money's included in this to address
What about
that
the-
issue.
What about the turning off and cleaning up of that old station? Is that included in
Yeah,
this?
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna address all that, and this money's gonna help us do that.
okay.
And if anything comes up later, I'm your advisor, so just, feel free to call me, reach out, if it's tomorrow, or you think something later, just feel free to call me, or
Okay,
let
cool.
Meg know when she can get to me.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Well, good evening. I'm John Pennell. Glad to be in front of you all this evening. We've been acting as bond counsel to the city and have worked with y'all's counsel, Jeff, over the years, and glad to finally bring this to fruition. I will brag first on y'all's staff. There was a lot of work that we've been going through over the last 6-8 months to bring this to a sale today. And I don't know if y'all seen it, but we can certainly get you copies. We put together a preliminary official statement, and that was what was sent out to the bond markets and was used today for the bids for the underwriters that accepted that. And that's like a stock prospectus. It's financial information about the water and sewer system, but it's also statistical information about LaGrange and Troup County and y'all's customer base, that sort of thing. And I think it's a real testament to the city to get that AA3 rating. And one thing that was y'all are able to do with that, I think Gabe failed to mention this, most of the time revenue bonds are sold with a reserve account where you set aside money and have a reserve in case you need to pull on that reserve in the event you have a bad year and unable to have the cash flow. Well, with y'all's coverages, as Gabe put earlier, almost 4 times coverages, the bond market didn't even demand any kind of reserve account. So these bonds were sold today just on the city's water and sewer system's credit. And to be able to get a 1.5% interest rate is pretty phenomenal. So I'm bragging on the city and especially y'all's staff on what the situation y'all are in financially to be able to do that. In order to approve all this tonight, we've got 2 resolutions that we need for the council to approve. The first is what we call the master bond resolution. The reason for that is y'all don't have any other outstanding water and sewer debt that has a revenue pledge on the system. And so that master resolution sets up the issuance of the revenue bonds, how they're paid back, how the net revenues of the system are used to pay back the bondholders. But it also allows you to issue what we call parity bonds. So if a year or 2 from now or several years down the road, y'all have other capital needs, under that master bond resolution, you're able to issue additional bonds. And so you could go back out in the market like was done today, issue bonds. Those bonds would have a equal lien on the revenues of the system like Piper Sandley is going to have, or their ultimate bond owners at the end of the day. They'll probably sell it out, to their customers. So that's the first resolution, is that master bond resolution, to have the framework in place for y'all to issue these bonds, but any other future bonds tied to the water and sewer system. And then the first supplemental resolution is a much shorter document. It locks in the rates and prices that Gabe's just gone over with you and awards the bonds to the winning bidder today. So those are the 2 action items. Assuming y'all approve that tonight, the next step is we do have to go through a bond validation process. All bonds in Georgia have to be validated by the Superior Court before they can be issued. Y'all's attorney has already talked with the judges and gotten, I think, a preliminary hearing scheduled. So we'll get that done the remainder of this month. And then the bond issue is scheduled to close on March the 30th. So at that point, the bonds will be issued. You'll have those money in your account to pay off GFA, and then the other $28 million into an account to then be used for these water and sewer improvements. So I know that's a lot of information, but if y'all got any questions for me, happy to go through it. Again, we appreciate working with you. Y'all are a great client, And it's just exciting to see, 6-8 months worth of work finally come together with such a great interest rate for the city.
Great, thank you. Does that generate any questions anyone would like to ask?
I mean, just when we pay off the GFA, does that stand to change our credit rating again?
No, sir. What you are doing is just, you're paying those off so they're no longer outstanding. And so the money that you're using to pay them off obviously is a part of this new bond issue. And so all that's been factored into the rating, into what was sold today.
Okay.
Any other questions? Now, let's see, thank you, and do any of your team need to make any further comments, or are we ready to entertain the resolutions?
Ready to proceed.
All right, so we have two resolutions here, and I guess I'll ask our attorney, Mr. Todd, to, I guess you read the title in, and then we consider motions.
All right, so we'll be first asking for a motion, a second, and a vote approving the master bond resolution as was just described by Mr. Allen as is before you.
Move approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any question that we need to talk? All right, ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the ayes have it. So that master bond resolution passes. And Mr. Todd, the second one?
Second one will be to approve the first supplemental bond resolution.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so the ayes have it, and that first supplemental bond resolution is also passed. And since this is a focused meeting, I don't think we have anything else on our agenda. Is there any objection to adjourning and closing the meeting? If not, all right. If not, we'll consider the meeting closed and ended. Thank you for your attendance.